7,395 pounds Cherokee 304R here at Haylett RV of Coldwater, Michigan. The R, I believe, stands for Rolling Island. As you'll see when we get into the kitchen and living area, we have dual opposing slides, all sorts of windows on the door side, and a really interesting seating arrangement on the interior that allows you to sort of swivel around and really just peer straight out that rear window to get views from your destination like pretty much no other travel trailer like this is going to be able to offer. Like most opposing super slide RVs, going down the road, getting to the bedroom and bathroom, very simple and easy. Also handy to be able to get here when you are at your destination, just hop in and out real fast. However, as we turn around, pretty typical scenario. Those two big opposing slides are nice, but it's a little bit too tight to try to squeeze through there with the slides closed. This is going to definitely be more of a destination unit. Although, having that slide closed like that, it gives you an awesome view of that indirect light that actually is located behind the slide fascia. The good news is that Cherokee thought of that, and they said, you know what, you're going to want to spend more time at your destination and less time setting up at your destination. And they actually equipped this with a hydraulic slide system. As opposed to an electric system, it moves a lot faster, and it actually runs all the slides at the same time. So normally I would open the slides, and then I would just kind of hang out, and then I would wait. But on this one, I can do it all in one shot. Now you notice how this slide kind of stopped for a second. That's because hydraulic slides tend to take the path of least resistance. Right now it's opening up that kitchen slide first. Once that one's done, it'll redirect its full power over here toward this main super slide. And there we have it, in living color, in motion. Now the one thing with hydraulic slides is they do use quite a bit of power. So you notice how it kind of overrode the lights briefly. As soon as I let off the switch, all that will come back to life. Now, as that's moving, you notice how the island is kind of strapped there in the slide out. Having these two big slides would actually be kind of cumbersome for an extra large island. As opposed to, there are campers that have opposing slides and islands like this, but they're going to be smaller islands, whereas this is a much, much larger one, obviously. So when you're going down the road, the island is on casters, it rolls around, it actually straps into the slide out. So that when you get there, all you do is just kind of move it back to where you want. But what's kind of cool is you'll see as we go, that leaves it some very flexible options. And when we get it all set into normal destination mode, this thing opens right up. It's got a big, huge, expansive look and feel. You've got these opposing super slides over here. You have a kitchen entertainment slide set directly across from a big like seating slide out. And really, this has a pretty similar arrangement to a lot of very popular fifth wheel living rooms. You know, if what you're looking for is a destination use trailer, like if you're going to just have something parked somewhere, this is an awesome camper. But it's got one key difference from most opposing slides. Well, first of all, you saw that rolling island. But secondly, you notice the location of the sofa. The sofa is located directly across from the entertainment center. And it really makes sense here because Cherokee models use this very theater-like sort of folding armrest. I like to call it like a cinema sofa. Now there is storage below that we'll see later, but it gives you the sort of effect of a theater seat in something that's far more budget-friendly than those big opposing slide mega fifth wheels. And in more of a classic arrangement, you have rear wall pushback free-floating recliners. And that's something that you don't see very often today. And I think there's a very, like you look at that, you go, well, that's weird. Why would they do that? There's a very good reason for it. Because it allows this Cherokee travel trailer to do something that virtually no other trailer with opposing slides can offer you. It lets you spin the chairs. And it might look silly. You might not, like, at first you're like, why would I do that? Think about it. When you don't have a rear sofa, that allows you to have a larger, taller, bigger viewing, more scenic rear window. So when you're hanging out on these twin recliners right here, maybe your destination has you parked overlooking a lake or some kind of scenic view. And that gives this Cherokee here the ability to do something that very few opposing slide rear living rooms can. It can give you this rear scenic viewing window because you can just flip those chairs around, you can take a peek at your destination, you can enjoy the sights of your destination as opposed to just looking only inward into the RV. And that's really kind of the story behind this one. This one just has loads of windows to give you unparalleled views of your campsite. You're not staring at the neighbors. You're staring at whether it's under your awning, your campsite, or again, maybe you're looking at the lake. This one has some very cool viewing opportunities that most travel trailers cannot match. Now again, whether you're in those chairs, and you can turn those chairs easily if you choose to add a TV to this Cherokee. You can turn the chairs easily and get a good shot at your entertainment center here. You'll find a matching TV mount outside, so you can even float entertainment indoors and outdoors. Down below here, this is something really smart they do. This is a Bluetooth stereo system. You can actually sync your phone to it and even do hands-free calls through your camper through your phone. But you've also got HDMI expansion ports here. So if you want to repurpose one of these little side cabinets here for an expanded entertainment offering, whether it's, you know, Blu-ray, satellite, something like that, you've got the perfect little spot to do it. Now, one of the differences between the Cherokee and a lot of your what's called stick and tin Forest River travel trailers are things like this. Like, we have full hardwood cabinet door frames. These are not press board cabinet doors that have a sticker wrap that have been just kind of glued together a little bit. There's nothing necessarily wrong with that, but this is the next step above. If you look at a common Forest River travel trailer, I would call it, consider it like a Chevy, just to give you a frame of reference. Whereas a Cherokee's more like a GMC. It's ultra similar, but it's like just the next trim package above. Like the electric space heating fireplace that we have below here. Cherokee is one of the brands that brought some very high-class features to a far more affordable budget that you could say like Larry Lunchbucket and Jane Sixpack could take home and feel very good and very proud about. And that's all true. Kind of like the fact that instead of OSB floor decking, we've got 5/8 tongue and groove plywood flooring below you here. They're just the next step up within the Forest River food chain. I'm not bashing other products. There's nothing wrong with them, and they have their own aspects and things. But the simple fact of the matter is, if you can't get them for a significant, price less than a Cherokee, then you're kind of overpaying for less trailer. Now again, you can see that both slides have these LED accents above, and we'll circle back to that in just a second, because below these giant max size Super Slide Breeze windows, because they are huge, you've got your additional seating space, whether you've got your little dinette here to enjoy a meal together, or if you are over here on that cinema seating, you've got all the room in the world. If you want to just stretch out, take a nap, anything like that, you can do all of that in here, and that's where those pleated shades really come into play. And here's one of the cool things about this one. You've got lots of space. If you're looking for a couples camper to just really stretch out, sprawl out, not trip over one another, congratulations, you've certainly found that. But maybe you have a friend over, or you'd like to have some guests over, or something like that. Well, you've got entertainment space for days in here. And frankly, guys, you've got all kinds of additional little sleeping capacity going on in this as well. Whether you just want to try to take a midday snooze on those two rear pushback recliners, which you can free float anywhere. You could throw two hide-a-beds, air beds, out on the floor of this thing. I mean, it's a couple's rig, but frankly, you could have full-on family sleeping space in here. Now, I said we'd circle back to the accent lights, and naturally I kind of forgot. When you want to activate what I call stealth mode, which is where you have all the main lighting off and you just do some little indirect lighting like this, the newly updated, especially, interior decor package they have going on here, and the fact that we have these opposing super slides with dual full-length light strips above that you can turn off, by the way. If you don't like them, turn them off, no big deal. It's perfect for if you want to, be able to get up, navigate something. Maybe you do have a guest on any of this hide-to-bed rear sofa type situation stuff going on, or side sofa in this case, I guess it were. You can always be able to see through this thing at night. Now, you've got 40-inch full extension drawers below that dinette right here. You never have to lift up those cushions and tear things apart to get to your storage. Now, another thing that you're going to find as we go through here, that pretty much anywhere you sit or sleep in a Cherokee, you're going to find USB plugs. And they're 12-volt power, so they're very boondock friendly. I haven't mentioned it, but all the lighting in here is LED, and that is not something you can still assume across the board. There's still a lot of campers, especially in the very budget-sensitive nature that you'll find a Cherokee. A lot of campers still will use incandescent lights. They don't do that here. Now, you can see that there is, the sofa is like a storage chest. There's a big flip-up space below. And above the rear chairs up here, just an extra little bump of space. They didn't let anything go to waste here, thankfully. Now, we've already kind of peeked a little bit at the entertainment center, but to give you a better look at everything inside the cabinetry here, I thought I'd go ahead and open all that up too while I'm at it. And you can see, That's no joke either. I mean, they utilized every nook and cranny and inch as best they could. And here is your primary pantry space next to the refrigerator. And you can see it goes from bottom to top of the slide out. And it is as deep as the fridge, essentially. So that is a legitimate, awesome, good pantry space. Now, over here, they did something, it's going to kind of throw some people, but I think a lot of people are going to like it too. Instead of an overhead microwave mounted within the kitchen slide, they mounted the microwave below the countertop next to the oven. And they do this in quite a few models, like the 304 Bunkhouse Cherokee, they do the same thing. What that gives you instead is this extra large window, and it's a kitchen where, like, if you want to stand right up next to it, because you don't have an overhead cabinet bonking you in the face, they were able to put more lights and a bigger, open, spacious feel to it. Plus, nice chunk of prep space right there with an easy reach power outlet. That's another thing that this one does very well. Outlets are easy to get to. Now the countertops, whether it's the dining table, the kitchen counters, the island that we haven't even seen yet, they're all a pressed membrane. You'll see the same thing in the bathroom as well. So if you are splashing water around these things, there's no T-molding, there's no edging that water can get into. That's not a major problem, guys. But now, it's a zero problem in a Cherokee. And I like that extra large, easy extension drawer they put under the oven. So you don't have to get on your hands and knees to dig around in there. Now, under the main sink area, you've also got some excellent capacity. If you do have those big pots and pans, plenty of space for it. And I love that beautiful, very residential-looking skirted stainless sink. Now you can see the sink cover sitting behind it. It perfectly fits right in there. It's flush mount to give you more prep space when you need it. Now inside of here, on both sides, you have little spice rack organizers, maybe little utensil holders. I think each person's going to find a different way to utilize this space, but they also put some lighting up inside of this little cavity alcove right here so that there's really no area in this camper that ever feels, you know, dark, dimly lit, or anything like that. But as I mentioned just a second ago, of course, when I point the camera right at a window, everything gets dimly lit. Like I mentioned a second ago, we still have that rolling island we haven't even seen yet. And that's another one of those interesting, uncommon factors in the 304R Cherokee. The R stands for Rolling Island. At least in my mind it does. And it's huge. Remember, it's an oversized island. They made this thing extra big. Now, if you don't want it there, if you like that wide open look and feel that you've seen so far, take it out. Nothing says you have to leave it in here, but I like how it's got that overhang. I think most of the time you're probably going to leave the island flipped the other way so that the overhang is on this side where the drawers are, but I wanted you to be able to get to see the drawers easily enough. But frankly, you can put it any way you want. You can put it crisscross applesauce in this thing. I don't care. You buy it, it's yours. Do whatever you want with it. But look at all this space. You know, so far you haven't seen a lot of drawer space. Well, look at that. You're loaded with drawer space. And the fact that this island rolls means that there's no plumbing, whether it's gas, whether it's water, there's no plumbing run to it. And what that means is that it is just pure, unadulterated, pure storage capacity. I use the word pure 2 times. I guess it's double pure. Sounds like something that, you know, Aquafina would say on a water bottle or something like that. Moving on. As we cruise up front here, we got a little peek into the bathroom earlier, but I want to give you a little more detail on it. We've got that extra large radius shower, lots more headroom going on in that thing, and you also have an extra large bathroom vent fan. Cherokees use the bigger, like Max Air style fans here to give you superior airflow. Handy little towel hanging rack, little detail a lot of brands are missing, and this is actually not a textured wall. But, buddy, does it have the look, doesn't it? Sure has the look and the feel. And that's what these guys are giving you. They're giving you smart, intelligent equipment, but never going over the top on something that, you know, is like wasteful or overly expensive. Now, over here, this is awesome. You've got a great dedicated linen space right in the bathroom of this Cherokee. And you notice how they're putting shelves in here so that you really get to utilize every ounce of space. Because when it comes to storage, say it with me, guys, every ounce counts. Plus, we have that, you know, pressed membrane counter here with a huge adult-sized sink. And if I sneak my way in here, a matching huge corner vanity. And I like how the mirror is mounted on an angle because when you're in the bathroom, you want to stand directly in front of the sink. You don't want to have to stand to the left or to the right. Of course, That's stage left and stage right. For some reason, I flipped into stage directions in my head when I started pointing. Dual entry bathroom, obviously. We do have a sliding pocket privacy door here. And another thing that we have, I like this, is this extra large viewing window in here. Of course, we do have a full privacy shade as well. Dual hanging closets, and you can see that we have a full overhead storage cabinet. Not just a shelf. Remember how I said this is sort of the GMC as compared to just the Chevys. The Chevys are going to have a shelf. The GMC has a full cabinet. Just a little, it's an indicator, you know. The little power outlets here, you notice that there's USB and household plugs on both sides of the bed, which is a nice touch. You also still have full pleated nightshades up here. Some brands will drop down to metallic mini blinds when you get to the bedroom. Cherokee does not. Kind of like Jayco. Jayco's good about being consistent that way in the J-Flight series. TV hookups here above the bed, and we also have, whoops, I bumped my power button as I was panning around here, so this will be a short segment. Long story short, we have easy lift bed storage. You can access the pass-through there, or you could section it off if you want. But notice how Cherokee is actually building in under-bed support. That's something some brands don't do. And you can also see how we've got a plywood bed deck. They're using better materials where it counts, just like the 5/8 tongue and groove plywood floor decking that we discussed earlier. Now, one of the first things people always want to know whenever they see a slide under an awning like that is how much patio space do I have left? And of course, it does use some of it. But the thing is, guys, it's not always just, hey, what I might have lost out on, but it's also what you gain in the exchange, because everything's an exchange. And I want you to think of this. Do you realize how much money people spend on slide awning covers? And how expensive those things can quickly be? And the fact that this RV has basically a built-in slide awning over the biggest slide of the RV. Now, why do you sit under the awning? And the answer is probably to stay cooler and to stay out of the sun. Well, wouldn't you like to extend that benefit to your main super slide where all of your seating and those big windows are to help keep the heat in the RV managed more easily? And that's what you do here in this Cherokee. Now, if that's not your preference, we have other models, you know. We have different models that might have a second awning mounted right on the super slide. That's not available on this one, but those things also cost more money. So you have to kind of leverage how important each different thing is to you. Now, what's also kind of cool is you see right over here, you've got a cool little campsite entertainment center. Comes right out to you. Easy to see. If you choose to add a TV to this RV, you've got the perfect little place to do it. And just like you have lights under the awning, you actually have backlights behind those speakers right there. Now, coming and going, very simple and easy with a very nicely covered entry area. And that right here, this is another one of the benefits to not having a split awning. When you have a awning arm that ends here and then another awning arm that stops there, there's a gap in the middle and rain always finds a way to drizzle into you there. So now we don't have that problem. Mr. Jody inside doing some quality control. We even check the valances and stuff to make sure that the shades are working in proper order for you guys. So larger handle for easy come and go, and we've got an anti-slam door. You can see it just barely bumped the little rubber baby buggy bumper down here. And what's cool is since this is a friction hinge door, you don't need a plastic holdback. It does its job. Now you've got the MoreRide stable step entry system here that folds open and shut. You see that there is no step well outside of the RV now that could possibly, you know, corrode and cause a long-term stability issue. Instead, you're going to get enhanced stability with those adjustable foot pegs. Now, up front here, not under the awning, where a lot of people prefer it, is a gas grill quick connect. So if you do choose to bring a grill with you, you're all set to go. You also have a perfect spot to keep a solar panel if you choose to pick up a portable panel to use that hookup on the upper left corner of the screen right now in this large front storage compartment that does go under the bed. And as we saw inside, you can lift that up for interior storage access as well. We've covered a lot, but what's funny is we've really only scratched the surface of what the outside of this Cherokee brings to bear, but as you can see, it's windy, and I'm gonna get that closed. I mentioned it quickly inside, but if you weren't aware, this brand went through an entire full-scale interior-exterior facelift recently, and they brought themselves up from being a very surprisingly high-level appointed camper up to being a very modern-looking and feeling camper that just happens to hit just deadly aggressive price point. And that's why Cherokee is overall the most successful thing from Forest River. They are #2 overall in the entire RV industry and growing like weeds. It is unbelievable the growth that this brand has seen in the last 3 or 4 years. And along the way, what I appreciate is that their quality control went up, not just their volume, but their quality. And that's why Cherokee is overall the most successful thing from Forest River. They are #2 overall in the entire RV industry and growing like weeds. It is unbelievable the growth that this brand has seen in the last 3 or 4 years. And along the way, what I appreciate is that their quality control went up, not just their volume, but they're building it better too. And that's not something you always find. Little differences. Again, kind of one of those GMC features. It's hard to see, so that's why I like to put these videos together to help educate you on these things. That full aluminum nose sweep there, it's not the only brand that does it, but Cherokee does an extra thick aluminum skin on the nose, so that basically the whole nose is effectively a stone guard, although you can see a dedicated stone guard below. Because if they didn't do that, you'd have a heart attack and you'd think they're an idiot. But they're above and beyond what you're normally expecting, and that's the funny thing. We've had a lot of people who come in looking for laminated ultralight trailers, and then they see the weights and the prices and the features on these Cherokees and its little brother, the Grey Wolf especially, and they go, wow, so this still has the central air, the LED lights, the power awning, the this, that, and the other thing. It's even got the enclosed holding tanks I was looking for. Holy crap. And I can save how much money going this route versus a laminated trailer? Jeez, oh Pete, sign me up. And I think that's why they've grown like crazy, because they're appealing to people who are not just looking for an entry-level camper. There's a lot of people looking for something with a nice, intelligent, higher-level equipment package who just don't want to go to a 35-foot fifth wheel. You don't necessarily have to, guys. This is maybe a way that'll work for you. Power awning, power tongue jack. You already saw the awning, but just to kind of mention those things real quick. As we come back here, your docking and dump station. This is actually kind of smart how they do this here. You've got a separate individually switched courtesy light. Nice bright white LED light, so that when you do need to dump your business in the evening wee hours, you can actually see what you're doing, but it's on a separate switch, so you can turn it off and not blind the neighbors. Full on black tank flush with full hot cold outside utility shower. And notice the cottage cheesy texture on that slide wall. This has a seal gripping, leak preventing slide wall right there, so that it grabs those wiper seals, makes them do their job. Down below those really slick looking mag wheels, they also have something beyond just neat visuals. They have tire pressure indicating valve stem caps. If that valve stem cap flips from green to red, you know at a glance before you ever leave for your trip if your tire pressure is good or not, because improperly inflated tires are the #1 source of flat tires in the RV business, so they make it easier to see that. We are ready for a backup camera overlooking that beautiful rear window. Remember those scenic views that we saw there, and now the way that you can spin those recliners around, it gives this thing a destination viewing mode, I guess you could say. A normal travel trailer just doesn't. It's a very uncommon, unique quality here. The travel rack you see on the back there holding that spare tire is 200-pound rated. You do not need to take the tire off to flip that down. And what's cool about that, guys, if you want to bring along bikes, a bike rack, or if you got a small generator, you can bring those things without voiding your factory warranty. And as we walk up here, I'm just making a double check to make sure I haven't missed anything. When the awning was open, I think we already covered most of everything I'd normally share over here, so I'd like to take this opportunity to just invite you to give our guys a call. If you found this video useful, all we ask for in return is a fair opportunity to earn your business, and it does not matter where you live. No one is too far away. Don't assume we couldn't do business just because maybe we're not geographical neighbors. We sell a huge amount of RVs out of a small town in southern Michigan, and we don't sell that many RVs to the locals. We bring people in from all over the place, so I don't care where you're at. You give us a call, you give us a fair chance, chances are we can make this happen. We don't do hidden dealer fees, but we do everything else, whether it's hitching pieces, parts, trades, finance, truck and trailer package deals, RV delivery, and everything between. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.